Let's play that one. Sorry.
This is the beginning of what's going to happen here. When you violate people's due process, when you pull people off the street, you start dragging them and hurting them and not abiding by the Constitution. When you start doing all of that, people get upset and angry. And if you remember what the Civil Rights Movement was about, the Civil Rights Movement was about these very kinds of protests. And for some reason, in our modern era, people think that in order to have protests, you got to be, cordoned off to a certain area and, what time you can protest. There's nothing in the Constitution that tells you what time you can protest. You can protest at any time. That's the whole point of it, is to disrupt, it's to make uncomfortable. And that's what they're doing. And that's what I believe when I say everyone has to be willing to sacrifice something. You have to make people uncomfortable in these times. If you see how uncomfortably and how harsh people are being treated on the streets, you have to be willing to go into places and disrupt and make people uncomfortable. That is what this country is about.
Mike Davis, that soundbite could be played in the closing argument without much more. I mean, that should be how the prosecution ends its closing and then sits down.
Yeah, that watching that makes my blood boil. I went to 13 years of Catholic school. I'm a terrible Catholic, but I remember going to Catholic Mass, and I just can't imagine if the Mass were stormed like that by these agitators. And the Mass was stormed because I went to a white Catholic church, and that's exactly why they did this.